I am your host, Ashira Nelson, and this is PBS Western Reserve's Forum 360, where we have a global outlook from a local view. Today we're shining a spotlight on the power of youth in politics. I'm joined by Devin Nelson, a proud resident of Maple Heights with a growing passion for public service. Devin represents a new generation of change makers who believe that young people can be the driving force behind a more engaging and an equitable political system. In this conversation, we'll explore what sparked Devin's interest in politics and how he's working to impact his community. And now is the time for more young voices to step forward and get involved. Whether you're politically active or just curious about making a difference, this episode will leave you informed and inspired. Hi, Devin.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Very nice. Ready to jump into it?
I am.
Okay, I'm excited about this episode just by the climax of all the many different changes that we're experiencing in politics. So I felt like your voice can help just inspire and inform just more people to get involved. So I'm excited.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Okay, so let's start about you. So tell me a little bit about yourself and your background.
So my background is in portfolio management and debt collections.
Nice.
Just in layman's terms, I get paid for results.
Okay.
I get paid to manage metrics, quantify the results, and bring results to my clients.
Okay.
So I'm very result-driven and solution-based.
Okay, so how long have you been in this industry?
I've been in that industry of finance for the past, it's going on 15 years now.
Wow, okay,
Yes.
The dedication.
Yes, very
Okay,
dedicated.
you don't see, I gotta bring light to this. You do not see a lot of youth staying in maybe they'll stay in a certain industry, but just stay in
Yeah.
so together for 15 years, that's
Yes.
very nice.
Yeah, I've
very
grown
nice.
to have a passion in that and
Okay.
helping people, just get results and just kind of get things done.
Very nice, very nice. So you're a proud resident of Maple Heights, right?
I am.
Okay, so how has growing up there shaped your views and your values?
So Maple Heights is a working class community,
Okay.
and it just helped me as far as growing up to instill certain core values in myself,
Okay.
which is kind of just hard work, have that grit and be willing to sacrifice. There are many, many residents in the city that sacrifice daily to
Yeah.
make sure that they can provide for their children. Same thing my mother did growing up. So those things were, kind of things that I brought from that community that are core values that I still carry to this day.
Okay, and I should have asked, for the people who don't know where Maple Heights is located in the Northeast Ohio area, so where is Maple Heights located in comparison to Akron, Cleveland?
So we are considered a inner ring suburb
Okay.
to the Northeast Ohio region, which means we are one of the few suburbs that actually touch the city of Cleveland.
Okay.
So we're just south of, we don't, in Cleveland, we don't really have those directional south side,
Yeah.
north side. We just pretty much have an east side, west side.
Yeah.
But if we did utilize those directionals, we'll be the southeast corner of Cleveland,
Okay.
one of the inner ring suburbs in that
Okay.
region.
Thanks for clarifying that. So what was the specific moment or experience that sparked your interest in politics?
So for me personally, I always closely have followed current events,
Okay.
news, history, and business,
Yeah.
which I think just automatically kind of aligns with politics.
Yeah.
But to be honest, the defining moment for me was in 2008 when President Barack Obama was elected. That's what really, really piqued my interest, to see an individual that looks like me, chief in command running the country. I was
Man.
like, wow. So that helped definitely spark the interest.
Oh, I definitely remember that time.
Yeah.
Oh, so where was you? Paint the picture for me in that moment for you.
For me, I was a college student. I was a freshman.
Okay.
I was in my first apartment. And I remember when the results came out, I was sitting in my apartment in Timbertop in Akron. Uh, for some of the youth, you know, you guys may remember this time, there was a rapper, Young Jeezy.
Okay.
He had a song called My President is Black.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I was sitting in my living room blasting that,
Okay.
you know, for the whole neighborhood to hear.
Okay. Okay.
And I remember that vividly to this day.
Thanks for, I feel like I can imagine that moment,
Yes.
you being in your living room.
Absolutely.
And yes, I definitely remember that, feeling inspired, feeling empowered,
Yeah.
feeling like a first, like, oh my God.
It was very inspirational.
Yeah, it
Very
was.
inspirational.
It was. I hope we get to experience that moment again.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we will. We will. So who or what inspired you to believe that the youth can get involved with politics?
So, you know, the last question was kind of a segue to this. It would be President Barack Obama.
Okay.
Just seeing how effective he was, how he
Yeah.
was able to just be charismatic and work across the
Yeah,
aisle,
so
deal with,
charismatic.
you know, just be bipartisan in his way of doing things. It let me know that just being youthful, being a visionary, being new to it, you know, bringing new, fresh ideas,
Yeah.
you can be successful in the political arena.
Okay, okay. Good view, good perspective. So what issues are you most passionate about addressing in your community?
So first and foremost would be the youth,
Okay.
Recreation and parks, just giving the youth something to do.
Okay.
I would love to bring back the summer camps.
Okay.
I would love to bring back financial literacy programs
So
for the
is
children.
the city of Maple Heights not experiencing those things, or that not the norm? So
Well, at the current moment,
Okay.
they have dissolved the recreation department,
Oh,
so
okay.
therefore they don't have the funding within their budget to
Mm-hmm.
allocate to youth and recreation and parks.
okay.
So with that being said, you know, again, I would just like to make that something that's a priority to the community, again, and like I said, financial literacy programs, camps, all of that.
Okay. Okay, very nice, very nice. I can see how I have young daughters, so obviously you know that, but it's nice to know that someone cares about that, because with having youth, I just know how important it is.
Yeah, I think the youth is forgotten in many, many cities.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
they're
so.
the last on the totem pole. You want to create policies and procedures for the working class individual. You want to create policies and ordinances and procedures for the seniors.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I feel like the youth
Yeah.
gets the short end of the stick.
Unfortunately.
And I want to make sure that, you know, given the opportunity, that I can make sure we continue to drive forward and make things happen for them.
I love that. So how do you stay informed or engaged in current politics?
Read.
Okay. Okay. What do you like to read?
I know that sounds very cliche.
Yeah, but
you know,
what are you reading?
I just read different publications.
Okay.
From local news to, you know, Wall Street Journal, anything that I can. Credible sources,
Okay,
credible publications, obviously,
Yeah.
but to make sure that I have a well-rounded viewpoint before, you know, I divulge or say how I feel
Yeah.
about things. You want to be informed, and you want to hear it from all different walks of life, so then you can come up with a determination or a idea yourself, you know.
Have you had any mentors or public figures that inspired to help guide your public interests?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
my late grandfather, Floyd Swoop, he was very, very involved in the political arena locally.
Okay.
And my mother, who's also an elected official as well, she has helped me as far as shape my ideology
Okay.
with certain
Very
political
nice.
views.
Okay, I like that. What was the first political or, like, if not campaign, like civil initiative that you were involved in?
Again, that goes back to my late grandfather, Floyd Swoop.
Okay.
We helped with the Jane Campbell campaign back in the day, early 2000s. I don't know if anyone
Wait,
really
how old were you?
remembers Jane Campbell as a mayor. I believe I was
and
somewhere
she was the
around
mayor of what, Cleveland? Okay.
yeah. I would believe I was somewhere around 11 or 12 years
Wow,
old.
okay.
He used one of his businesses as a campaign shop for her.
Wow.
And I remember being in there stapling those yard signs
Okay.
and doing things like that. And the same for Marsha Fudge when she was running for state representative. He also helped
Wow.
with that as well.
Okay.
And my mother, like I said
Uh-huh.
previously, she's an elected official. She is actually the mayor of Maple Heights. So I've helped with several of her campaigns, 3 mayoral campaigns, as well as a city council campaign.
Wow. Okay. So why do you believe it's important for young people to get involved with politics?
I believe it's important for young people to get involved, to bring just a different perspective, to bring fresh ideas. And, to be honest, as the young people say, they're going to stand on business, right?
Yeah.
They're going to make sure that,
true.
They're upfront, they're transparent about what their views are, and they're not going to just go with the status quo. They'll challenge that. So I think that we need that, because a lot of individuals, they go with the flow, and they just continue to do the same things that are a detriment to our communities and our nation. And I think the young people will assist with moving things along, and that's needed in progress,
Okay, good point. On the flip side, what are some misconceptions that the youth have about politics?
I think the biggest misconception with the youth in politics is I don't care if I vote. My vote doesn't matter.
Okay.
I think in this current arena that we're in, with the way that politics are going in America, I think we have a little bit of voter fatigue.
Okay.
I think that we all like a lot of entertainment, and
very much
the political arena right now is almost a circus, to the point where it makes people just feel like it's off-putting, right? You don't want to deal with it.
I can relate. Yeah.
So I think that we need to get back to the basics on that.
Okay. Okay. How do you think we get back there?
How do I think we get back to the basics? I mean, we have to start being engaged again.
Okay.
And just knowing that your vote does count,
Yeah.
your voice does matter. And where you start at is on the local level, because that is where it's more tangible, and you'll see the real results there. And then, like anything, you start from the foundation and you build up. And the foundation is truly in your local government.
I like that. Okay, local government, starting within the city, like starting within the city that you're in. Just start there, get it. Okay, I like that. So what advice do you have for someone who feels intimidated by the process, like the political process?
I would say, don't let it intimidate you. Stay engaged. The process is here to work for you, right?
Okay.
So if you're intimidated, then obviously it's not working for you.
Yeah.
Voice your opinion. You can't be heard if you don't say anything.
Good
right?
point.
And if you're intimidated, that's half of the battle for them, because you won't speak up, right? So they'll continue to be able to create policies and things like that, and laws, and pass bills for things that don't benefit you. And while you're sitting there intimidated, you won't be able to do anything about it.
Great
As
point.
opposed to just saying, intimidated or not, I'm going to let my voice be heard.
Very great point. How should a young person start by letting their voice be heard locally?
I would say do that. Just start.
Just start?
Start today.
Okay.
So start with things that are important to you.
Okay.
Get boots on the ground, whether it's out there, starting petitions, being engaged in the community, and creating awareness on your social media. Whatever you have to do to get started, don't wait. Don't think you don't have the resources. We all carry around a mini computer in our pocket, a smartphone. You can just start there by just simply being engaged and, putting the word out there and bringing some awareness to whatever the issue is.
I am your host, Ashira Nelson, and this is Forum 360 Western Reserve, where we have a global outlook from a local view. I'm joined by Devin Nelson, a local advocate for just getting more involved in our community and the youth having power in their voice. So Devin, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for
having me. And I want to jump back into our last question about ways that the youth can actually get involved.
Yes.
And I want to follow up to a response you had just said before we took a little break. But you had mentioned that you should get started now. So what kind of things, like live events, should they attend to get their voices heard?
So I would start by joining a club for a political party, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. Young Democrats of Cuyahoga County, Young Republicans of Cuyahoga County. I would also start by subscribing to the change.org email chain, where they will email you different initiatives and things that you may see. So if you're passionate about it, you can go and be a part of that initiative, whether it's clean water, different resources for different neighborhoods. You'll get that email when you're subscribed, and if it's a cause that you feel passionate about, you go out there in your community and be boots on the ground and start helping.
I love
raise
that.
awareness.
Is there any like for people wanting the youth wanting to get involved locally, is there something that we can like go to and voice our concerns or have a voice?
Absolutely.
Okay. What is
on the
those
local level,
things?
you want to start at your city council meetings.
Okay.
You want to hear what's going on in your city. You want to hear what legislation is being passed. You want to start there.
Yeah.
Again, the foundation starts at the bottom, which would be the local level.
Okay, so city council meetings,
yes.
Attend those in your cities, have a voice, learn the lingo, the talk.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And stay informed. And when things are not happening that you don't like, bring that awareness to the forefront. Again, we have those computers in our pocket, the smartphones. Get on your social media and make it be known that, you know, these elected officials are not acting in the best interest of their constituents.
Okay, that's really great advice. So are there any local organizations or efforts that you're currently involved in Maple Heights?
Yes, I currently work with the school board, the Maple Heights City School District, with their CTAG program. I serve as a mentor to the youth through that program. Nice. They're currently doing an overhaul on it, so I'll be hearing from them soon, hopefully, to continue for the next school year. And in addition to that, I also helped one of my longtime friends. He's a collegiate athlete. He went to University of North Carolina. He graduated. He almost made it pro. And one thing he wanted to do was bring youth football back to the city. So I did start him a nonprofit, worked with him to start a nonprofit. Nice. I'm currently on the board, and I helped bring a football team back to the city, the SSC Dogs.
Very nice.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you use your voice to advocate for changes that you want to see?
How do I use my voice to advocate for changes that I want to see? Again, I just get out there and do it. You got to spring into action. You got to be solution-based. Talk to your council member, talk to whomever you may have an ear, whose ever ear you may have at city council, or at city hall. Wherever you can start, make sure you start there and you just make it be known that you have a concern. And a true elected official will take that into consideration.
I love that. So the future of politics, what would you like to see more from today's political leaders, especially like when it comes to youth engagement?
First and foremost, I would like to see accountability. From our elected officials. A lot of them don't take accountability for the things that they do. Second of all, I would love for them to be more passionate in understanding for our youth. A little less judgmental, because we didn't come up in their era, right? So a lot of them are dealing with a lot of issues that are even foreign to us. You know, you're looking on you're scrolling your social media, you're dealing with seeing other individuals doing certain things, and you may feel a little behind, right? Mental health is a really big thing for the youth right now. We have to be considerate of that and make sure that we're giving them a way or something to have an outlet for their energy. You know what I mean?
Good point. So how do you think social media, since you brought that up, how do you think social media has changed the way like the youth view politics?
I think in a way it's good and bad. You know, you have politicians like Jasmine Crockett out there who brings, you know, awareness to whatever the issue is, right? And then I think you also have a situation where you get so much of that that it kind of turns you off, right? Where you're like,
which I'm easily turned off.
There's a circus again, and you don't want to be involved in the circus, right? So I think it can go both ways, but ultimately when you see that circus, understand that you can go in there and be a ringmaster too. Get in that arena and make a change.
So do you see yourself running for office or a political position?
That's something that may happen in the future.
What is one thing you would change about our political system if you could make a change?
If I could make a change, I would assure that we have a better line of checks and balances. I understand that we do have that, but In reality, we have a lot of
Yeah.
individuals who figured out a way to play that system by aligning with one another and, you know, having the majority rule kind of idea. I think we just have to get back to people being, you know, elected and serving their constituents as opposed to serving themselves. We got to get back to that.
People for the people.
Yes.
Like, good
Right
point.
now, a lot of the politicians are for themselves. They're self-serving. They're making great bankroll, good money off of being politicians, and they serve those interests a lot of times.
Yeah, so unfortunate. So what keeps you motivated, even when the political landscape just feels so discouraging?
It does, yeah.
So
the things that keeps me motivated would be my children. I want to make sure that they have the same resources, the same quality of life that I had growing up, to ultimately make sure they have the same opportunities. So, you know, no matter how exhausting this journey may get, and no matter how much I try to advocate and I don't see change, I look at my beautiful daughters and I see their faces and it's like, hey, I have to make it happen.
Okay, very nice, very nice. How old are your children?
I have one that will be 12 in a few weeks, and I have a 4-year-old.
Very nice. So what is your message to someone watching this and think politics isn't for them?
My message to you is the system is designed for you, okay? So don't allow anyone to intimidate you, discourage you, or just just knock you off track, right?
Yeah.
What we have to do is remember that the system works for us, and the only way it works is if we work with the system. So let your voice be heard. Don't get, like I said, voter fatigue or just discouraged by anything.
Yeah.
Use the system to leverage to work for you. And that's what I would tell them to do.
I like that.
Stay engaged. Don't, no matter what. Stay engaged.
Very great point. They gotta stay engaged. Yeah, there. I love that point. If somebody said, okay, I want to stay engaged. They just watched our interview and they want to get out, stay engaged, and like get started now. What are some like 3 steps that you feel like they could do like right now to go make an impact?
Right now, again,
or just have a voice.
Again, I would say right now to get an impact, start with subscribing to thechange.org so you can hear or know about different civic initiatives that are going on. 2, if it's on the local level and you're concerned about things that are happening in your city, go to city council. 3, familiarize yourself with your council person.
Okay.
That's your direct line of communication in your city government.
Okay. Very, very good point. So how are you aligning yourself with your local city government?
Well, to be honest, that's a little difficult for me, just due to my mother's position. Like I said earlier, our city government, it's a little bit where individuals are aligning with one another.
Okay.
So it's a little
too
difficult.
much, but just share a little bit about like your position.
But for me, what I do is I just try and do what I can in the community to help. Whether that be, making a phone call and saying, hey, I see this or I see that, I start there. Fortunately for me, I don't necessarily have to reach out to my city council member because I have the ear of the mayor. So I can go directly to the source and, bring my concerns. Everyone doesn't have that. If you don't have that, start with your council person. Absolutely.
Call them, email, text them, whatever you got to do.
Whatever you got to do.
Get your voice heard.
Absolutely.
What are some of the next focuses for you?
The next focus for me is to, again, I've been really, really on the parks. So trying to help get the parks redone in our city. We have roughly, I think, 4 or 5 major parks in the city.
The city of Maple Heights.
Yes.
Okay.
And they all need some TLC.
Okay.
And that is my big initiative, is to try and get those parks that deserve TLC that they need.
And when you say try to get the parks some TLC that they need, what's the action that you speak about?
So right now, again, reading. In addition to the stadiums getting unclaimed funds, they are also going to be utilizing unclaimed funds for community things, such as parks, ADA
Okay.
accessible parks. So if you are willing to build an ADA accessible park or a park that helps for children with the spectrum, then they do have funding for that.
Okay.
So with that being the case, I made it a point to get in my mayor's ear to tell
Okay.
her about that and say, hey,
Okay.
let's see if we can try and get some of these funds. Because I will say that I have been complaining about the parks for years.
Okay.
And I will say that my complaints have not gone unnoticed.
Yeah.
Every year we file for a grant, because it has to be a grant again, because we don't have, they dissolved the recreation department when the
Yeah.
city was in fiscal emergency. So it has to be a grant. We don't have that within the budget.
Okay.
But for the past 5 years, we have applied for grants. We just haven't won. So
Yeah.
hopefully just staying diligent and, continuing and being consistent, our day will come.
Very nice. Well, thank you, Devin. Thank you for joining us. This is Forum 360, and I hope Devin's journey has inspired you to think about the role that you can play or your youth can play in shaping our community and our future. Remember, change doesn't just happen from the top down. It starts with individuals who care enough to take action. I am your host, Ashira Nelson. And until next time, keep watching Forum 360, where we have a global outlook from a local view.
Forum 360 is brought to you by John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, the Akron Community Foundation, Hudson Community Television, the Rubber City Radio Group, Shaw Jewish Community Center of Akron, Blue Green, Electric Impulse Communications, and Forum 360 supporters.